through extraordinary circumstances and have come out wiser on the other end. I know that there is healing in sharing, as I have shared my own personal story, and the wisdom comes from that experience. Why not seek the answers of life's experiences and be wiser than having to go through the pain? Join me in learning from Stories of the Soul.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Chinyere Mckenzie from Mama Knows Best, Mama. And we are here today for Stories of the Soul. We're here every single Sunday, definitely, and we're here live as well. We've got absolutely amazing story for you, and one that is just one of a miracle, and we have to definitely share it. Jenny says hi, and everyone's there with us today. So definitely, this is Stories of the Soul, and the reason why we do Stories of the Soul is because someone out there has gone through what you're going through, and then why not get the wisdom instead of having to go through all the pain? So definitely, this is absolutely amazing. I got Dumebi with me, and we're going to be speaking about her miracle baby. Well, sometimes, like, you hear about miracles, and it's like, oh, you watch TV or the movies, and they give, those sprinkle of dust about miracles. But this is our true life miracle that you have to definitely hear. And one story that gives hope, one story that gives strength in faith, strength in prayer, and definitely no further ado, we're going to bring Dumebi on right now. Dumebi, thank you so much for joining us on the Mama Knows Best show. Are you there? Excellent. I'm hoping that you're able to hear me. And I'm also hoping that everyone at home could hear me as well. We've got a high level of quality internet, so it should be good. So are you able to hear me? Excellent. You know what's beautiful is that when you go live and all the technical, it's absolutely sometimes it could be a bit difficult but challenging, but we're still going to work through it. And definitely, and this is all about going live. Is it? Oh, let's go.
There you go. That's better.
Technology at its best, it'll definitely get better. Tell me about it. Oh, wow. So, Dumebi, thank you so much for joining us on Mama Knows Best and Stories of the Soul. And thank you so much for bringing your story to the platform and be able to share your wisdom through your journey. And I want to start with your miracle baby. Are you able to kind of explain how your baby is just been able to save lives even from birth until now?
Do you know what? I think this is the first time I myself is actually getting to talk about this. And he's 5 years old now. So I've never really given my own version of it. So this is quite interesting, but I'll just give you a brief summary. So this is my husband and I, Pastor Dele, we really wanted to have a child, and getting married after 7 years.
Yes.
It took 7 years for him to finally come. And when he was born on the 23rd of December, 7 p.m., just a couple of hours before midnight, he developed, it's a very, very complex word they gave us, but they said he developed persistent pulmonary hypertension and meconian aspiration syndrome. What it meant, he couldn't breathe on his own.
Yeah.
essentially.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
Okay. Wow.
so he had to be incubated, ventilated, sorry, and he was taken to one of the very dire wards where they keep very, very poorly babies.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to hold him or carry him because I was still very poorly myself.
Yeah.
But you know, when they told us, they called us into a consultant room, and they explained the gravity of the issue and said, see, he's not doing well.
Mm.
That's the summary of it, and we would need a miracle right now to be able to help him out. So we were trying to hold ourselves and just say, this can be slipping out of our hands after waiting for this long.
Mm.
But the good thing along the way is we were surrounded by people who worked both in the medical profession. Even we had a very key person who worked in that neonatal ward, and she said she wasn't even on duty, but she got to know about it, and she said, I think I know somebody who can help, because what he needed, what Jeremiah is my son's name, what he needed at that minute was they needed to take him to one of the specialist hospitals. There are about four of them in Europe,
Yeah.
and the hospital, in that hospital, they needed to do what they call an ECMO treatment. Essentially, they take out the blood
Mm.
from the person and reoxygenate the blood in a different, way
Yeah.
or system, and then they pump it back to the body system. So that's what they were going to do for this tiny baby who was barely a day old.
Yeah.
And they, because it was, almost Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
there was no space, there was no bed available in any of these four hospitals. And so they were waiting, so the hospital and the consultants were waiting for somebody to say, there's a bed available. Well, we got this consultant who said, you know, rang up the hospitals, and they finally got a bed for him in Almond Street, Great Almond Street,
Yeah.
just, just before Christmas Day. The next challenge they had, and that was the only bed left in all those four centers. The next challenge they had was they needed to move him. Remember, he was very, very critical, and he
Wow.
was on a special ventilator. So they needed to move him from the Manchester hospital where we were, move
Yeah.
him to move him via an helicopter and take him
Yeah.
to London. Now, remember, Manchester Hospital did not, I think, they didn't have a helipad or a helicopter. So, A, they had to hire a helicopter. B, they had to get somebody to fly it on that Christmas season. And
Mm.
C, the complexity of moving him from his ward
Yeah.
through the hospital ward, through into the ambulance right there out there in front of the hospital, drive him all the way to Plackfield where the helicopter was waiting, and then airlift him to Great Ormond Street.
Wow.
So it had to be a miracle, and I can't say, I can't say so much thank you to the
Yeah.
staff who were
Yeah.
so delicate and so trained, and it was a miracle. Everything went so smoothly.
So,
It
as a
was.
mother, the baby was just a day old, and this is happening. How did you feel at that moment? Did you know what was happening, or is it all happening for you without you actually understanding what the gravity of everything?
I was conscious. I was conscious when it was all happening, even though I was in a very poorly state. But I
Yeah.
couldn't do much because I had also developed some complications as well after birth. And
Yeah.
so I was only seeing people moving, and somebody comes to whisper to me, "This is what we're doing." So it was all
Yeah.
very hazy. It was all very quick.
Mm.
Luckily enough, my husband was there, and so he took majority of the decisions. I hadn't even held him since he was born, and so yeah, it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
good thing is I had the support I needed at that time. I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did.
So, did you know what was going on? What was happening? That they're going to take your
Yes.
child? and send your child away to?
Yeah, so they actually called us to a consulting room and explained, the gravity of the situation. But they said these are the options.
Yeah.
So if we get a bed for him before midnight in any of
Yeah.
these hospitals across across Europe, we
Yeah.
will try and get him as quickly as possible. So
Yeah.
I was aware that this was happening, and our prayers was really that, we rang up our senior pastor then and said, he's got to come down and just come and meet us, just come and pray with us,
Yeah.
and because we needed all that support, because it was like your whole world was crashing down right in front of
Yeah.
your eyes, really.
Could imagine. Could imagine. Could imagine. So, was there any point within this whole thing that you thought, there might be a chance that my child might not survive? As a mother, did you ever get to that point, or was it just like everything's going to be okay?
Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
No, because when they called us the consulting room, they offered us a box of tissues as we were sitting down. So, and they were all looking very grave, and so we knew this was serious.
Yes.
And even as Christians, we believe in God. We believe for the best to happen, not the worst.
Yeah.
But when the consultant, who is the head of the neonatal ward, who was a friend of ours, who is a friend of ours, when she came to us and she came to my bedside and she said, I really need to tell you this. I really need to tell you, he's not doing well.
Yeah.
When someone that close to you who knows the situation, firsthand, that crushed all the hopes I had, to be honest. I just thought, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they take your baby, they're gonna rush your baby to in the ambulance, who's a day old, to the a heliport. How far is this from where you are?
So this is so we were in Manchester St Mary's St Mary's, yeah. St Mary's Hospital. And so Plackfield, to be honest, I don't know where Plackfield is, but I think it's very near the Manchester airport.
Okay.
A couple of distance.
Yeah.
And it was going to be very early on Christmas morning that he was going to be moved. So it was, if I can remember the how the weather was at that time, it was very foggy.
Yeah.
At that time. So yeah, and it was a distance. I think that was very critical for them. It took a lot of planning for that to happen. So between the time they told us, oh, we've got a bed, we've got a helicopter, and the time they actually moved him, it took a long time, because they had to carefully plan that.
Yeah.
And they had to make a small ventilator, like an incubator for him, and move it with wheels, so it was carefully planned. And trust me, I was just trusting God. I'm like, God, you just gotta help us, because no man can do this. There are likely to be mistakes in any of these steps that was being taken.
Oh wow. So the baby gets to the heliport place, and then he gets flown over to London to Great Norman Street, did you say?
Great
Ormond Street.
It's
Yeah.
Great Ormond
So
Street.
what
One of the best hospitals in the world, to be honest.
Oh wow. So what happens when he arrives?
So I wasn't there. My husband had to go with him. I wasn't there. But they took him straight to the bed that was reserved for him, and they had to sort of prep him for the treatment, which was going to be in a couple of days. But I was going to be moved by an ambulance by road to get to London, which in my poorly state and all the things sticking out of my body was another miracle that I got there. So I was going to get there ahead of time before they do the surgery for him.
And
I did get there.
You did get, and the surgery was, is that they were going to take all his blood out of his
Yeah.
body and
Yeah.
then put it back in again? Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's called an ECMO treatment. I won't give you the full name, but
Yeah.
it's ECMO. They do that for this kind of situation as the last resort.
Yeah.
Because the baby is not able to breathe on its own, the lungs are clogged, and it's there's a chance it would work,
Yeah.
because you never know when you do things to the body system and try and put it back, it
Yeah.
unbalances the system. But hey, it was better than not doing anything, so we went
Yeah.
for it. We're like, yes, anything that would be, that would work.
Excellent. So he gets there, you're prepping, mummy's in the ambulance as well. As you said, tubes are all in you, you're really quite poorly.
Yeah.
Everyone gets there. And what actually happens while you're there? So, baby's in intensive, ready to do his surgery. What happens?
So we were given a room as parents, in the Great Ormond Street. They have apartments for parents, and we're given a room, and they said, make yourself comfortable. You might be here for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, because there are parents who practically live there now. So
Wow.
they just said, make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think in our hearts we were like, okay, what needs to be sorted back at home? So we're in our minds just thinking of the things we need to put in place just in case we're stuck there for months and
Yeah.
years. But the ninth that we got the key to the apartment, I became very poorly, so I was now taken to the UCL,
Yeah.
and which not it was a couple of miles, but I had to be admitted back into the hospital.
Mm.
And while I was there, I think I was there for on the 26th, 27th. I've lost track of the dates, to be honest, but I was there for a day or so. And, my husband came to see me that morning, and, they couldn't figure out what was happening. Jeremiah was still at Ormond Street. It was going through the process, trying to get him ready for the surgery. They hadn't given us a date then.
Yeah.
And just as we were there, the hospital rang us, the Ormond Street staff. Actually, he had a special nurse who was looking after him. And she rang us and said, we're going to send Jeremiah back home. And to be honest, we panicked. We said, have we done something wrong? Or is something wrong with him? Don't send him back, please. And she said,
Yeah.
no. He's fine. We don't know what happened. We think he's a miracle baby. Now, to be honest, these were her words. Said,
Yeah.
we think he's a miracle baby because we don't know what happened. We've
Yeah.
stripped him of all the gadgets that were connected to him. He's no longer in the ventilator. He's
Yeah.
breathing on his own, and
Yeah.
he's fine. He doesn't need the ECMO treatment. And actually, we need the bed for a more critical patient. We think we're just going to send him home because he's fine.
Yes.
And we looked at ourselves and we were like, are you kidding me?
Mm.
That you have. I was speechless, and my husband, bless him, he just knelt down on the
Yes.
on the floor. I was just praising God and just thanking God, and we were in tears. We were
Yeah.
like, is this possible?
Wow.
But you know what? We knew that the church was praying because we
Yeah.
sent out an SOS,
Yes. I was going to ask
and
you that.
sorry.
No, no, go ahead. I was
Sorry.
going to ask you about the miracle between baby's there, everyone's worried, and then baby's okay. Something's
Yeah.
happened in the interim of all of that happening. So I want to
Oh.
know, what was that? Because that's the miracle as well. What was happening in the interim that then
Oh.
you can say contribute to baby's miraculous, you know,
you,
turnaround?
you, you know what, Chinyere? I knew that people were praying
Yes.
because we're part of a prayer group,
Yeah.
and there was this WhatsApp messages that was sent out on our behalf
Yeah.
to say, you've got to pray for baby Jeremiah. He's
Yeah.
poorly, and pray for Pastor Dilly and Dumebi. So
Yeah.
there was prayers, and people fasted even on Christmas Day,
Oh,
just to
wow.
pray for us and pray for
Yeah.
Jeremiah. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
it was so emotional. The text messages we're getting feedback of people praying for
Yeah.
us, and we knew because we couldn't pray on our own. We were
Yes.
not thinking about
Yeah.
praying. We were just like, oh, we're in your hands right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
we were sustained by
Yeah.
those prayers, during those time, and God just gave us the grace to be able to stand strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a miracle. It
So, in
was.
terms of prayer, to be able to conceptualize prayer, to then prayer to contribute to miracles, what happens? What is that? Because you hear about the power of your word, from the word life is given. So what is that? Because that in itself is, you know the miracle as well, to understand that, okay, you know
Yeah.
everyone says baby needs help. His blood needs to come out of his body, re-enter his body. He has to go through a real big surgery. Mummy's unwell, and then all of a sudden it's like baby's well, but that there's things been happening in the background. Everyone's been fasting. So what is the power of prayer
Oh,
and fasting in a way that we can understand, you know what happens in that space?
yeah, God. Sometimes God only steps in when when we've exhausted all our options in life.
Yeah.
There's some things we can fix, because of our knowledge and our skill set and our access to resources, but there are
Yeah.
some things we can't fix. you
Yes.
know and something like this where a baby needs a miracle because it was a 50-50 chance. What
Yeah.
if we didn't get a bed for
Yeah.
him to get that opportunity to have this surgery?
Yeah.
What if the flying from Manchester to Ormond Street, what if he couldn't take it? Because
Yeah.
remember, you're taking him up into a pressurized cabin. They don't know the effect of that. What
Mm,
if the
mm,
transporting from London airfield to the hospital? There were so
mm,
many risks involved in all of these, and some of these, humanly speaking, we can't control.
mm,
You know,
mm.
so what if even if they did the ECMO treatment and it didn't work?
Yes.
So there are some things we can manage. God has given us the ability to be able to solve some life's issues, but
Mm,
there are some things that are just completely out of our control,
yeah.
and that is where God steps in. But you know what? Until we pray,
Yeah.
we're not seeking God's attention. So I think when God heard the prayers of children praying and people praying, it's like the whole
Yeah.
nation was praying.
Like
He just,
Avatar.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I'm sure even if he was having his Christmas dinner, he would be like, come on,
Mm,
these people are disturbing me. I've got to
yeah.
answer their prayers.
Yes.
It got his attention, and
Yeah.
that's when he stepped in, because he
So,
didn't he didn't need to have any surgery,
oh,
Chinye. He didn't need to
oh,
have
wow.
anything.
Oh,
Anything.
wow. So what
Amazing.
would you say to, someone who's never ever kind of experienced the concept of prayer? Because prayer is something that's unseen, faith is something that's unseen. And, there's something else, or there's a more of an understanding in the unseen that you
Yeah.
probably have to have,
Yeah.
but what if someone's never come into the concept of what prayer is, and for
Yeah.
them to understand the miracle in, because now in these days you hear the power of word. Everyone's starting to catch on to, law of attraction, power of the words. And are you how could you explain that to those who have never ever kind of come into or have belief in the concept of prayer, and my prayers are answered?
you know, First of all, you would have so everybody prays. We all pray, but it depends on what we're praying to. I can be praying to my parents to help me. I can have faith. You mentioned faith. I can have faith and trust in my family that they are going to help me when I run into trouble. But what it means to have faith in God, like you said, is knowing that there's somebody out there who knows better than I do. There's somebody out there who's got all power, and I can run to him. So one is having that trust, and to have a trust, you've got to have the relationship with him. You've got to know him as a father, and that we can run to. And then he's got to accept us, but he's ready to accept us as his own. And then you've got to have trust in him. So what good is it that I have a father who can do all things and I don't trust him to do things for me? So I've got to trust him, and then I've got to have the ability to be able to come to him, and I do that through prayer. Now, prayer is not a mystical thing. Prayer is just a conversation with someone who has the ability to help you. So I'm praying to God. I'm saying, God, just step in. A simple prayer like that, because I know that will be. He will hear it because he knows me. I know him. I have a relationship with him. I trust him that if I say these things to him, if I ask him to do something for me, he's gonna do it. And then I asked him and I say, I need you to save my baby. And because I trust him that I don't know how he's going to do it. To be honest, but he did it.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
it's the confidence. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, this is the confidence that we have in him, that he hears us when we call and he answers us. So just based on that alone, I pray to God for anything.
I think I was going to say there's one thing I like, reading the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and just the sounds, just to hear about it's the words, and it's like, let there be light, and light was born. It's the word, it was spoken. So that whatever you speak into your life, it does manifest, definitely. So baby is, so baby's miracle, everything. What happens now back home, where I will call your baby the miracle baby that has saved lives now and saved lives to come, because now there's provisions and things that have happened after his story. So could you just tell us that bit?
So, when we were finally discharged after a month from the hospital, because I was poorly, not him, so the hospital really began to understand the fact that this wasn't good enough. The way it was handled wasn't good enough, because a hospital as big as Manchester, not even Manchester North, Manchester Hospital, it's a combination of 3 hospitals, doesn't have an on-site helipad. So that triggered the fact that we don't want this to happen again to any baby. And one thing we did is when we went back to the hospital with him, just to show the nurses and the people who looked after him and say he's fine, and we took the route. So they showed us the route through which they wheeled him from the hospital bed through to, took him out to the entrance where they had the ambulance waiting. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You can't do this to critically ill baby, So they launched a campaign and said, we want Manchester Hospital to have an on-site helipad, and we've got the space for it. So the campaign was going to cost about £3 million to do that. And he was one of the key people they used for that campaign. So they had his posters, his pictures up in the big, huge banner. And they ran the stories of his birth and this miracle birth. They call him Miracle Baby, and there were lots of interviews, and myself and him. So I did a run, the Great Manchester Run, that the following year, to raise funds to join in the campaign. And when he was 3 years old, he joined the run, so he was running to for the campaign as well. And within a short space of time, they were able to raise that funds just for that helipad. So kids, nobody would have to go through
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
ordeal
Oh,
of, of risking the only chance you have. So now I can
oh.
proudly say that
Yeah.
Manchester Hospital has or will have an on-site helipad.
Bad.
No more flag fields or whatever. So that is amazing. That's you. Oh no, that
And that is why your
I can hear
son,
you.
yeah, that
I
is why
can hear
your,
you anymore.
oh wow, that's
Chinyere, I
okay.
can't hear you anymore.
That's okay. You
Oh.
keep talking.
Are
Don't worry.
you on mute?
Yeah, no,
Well,
no. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think it's my reception. No, it's okay. Keep talking. Keep talking.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. I'm so happy to God. And I think what I would like to say in addition to this is you've got to trust God. You've got to believe in him. And you need to have a support group. We had people for us who were praying for us,
Mm,
and that helped us through the ordeal. And it was almost like we were going to lose everything,
mm,
but
yeah.
we're so grateful to God that this ordeal is just behind us now. He's a 5-year-old boy. I'm
Oh,
running around him,
wow.
trying. So it's an amazing testimony. I can't say
Wonderful.
God hasn't been faithful. I can't say that.
Wow.
But,
Are you able to hear me now?
oh,
No.
I can hear her
Oh,
again.
let me check.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. But I'm saying thank you so much. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but thank you for the interview, and definitely I hope, can you hear me? No? No.
sorry.
That's okay. But thank you. And if everyone could hear you, we can say goodbye. But yeah,
All
but
right.
you can talk it as well. But
Okay. See
thank
ya.
you. Thanks for coming on. Oh, definitely. God bless you. Thank you. Excellent. Wow. That's amazing. And I'm just wondering if everyone could hear me now. If you can hear me, you can actually just put up, I can hear you, definitely. Can you hear me? So yes, thank you so much for joining the Mama Knows Best show. Every single Sunday we are here. Make sure you're able to come on, to every single Sunday to Stories of the Soul. If you want to be involved with Story of the Soul too, yay! I think you can. So if you want to be involved with Story of the Soul, you can as well. Get in contact with us on Mama Knows Best, and that's our .com, mamaknowsbest.com, and we are here to help, to serve, and to support. And it's an absolutely amazing story, which I've absolutely, the miracle baby that now resources have actually, a hospital has a helipad because of the birth of Jeremiah. How special is that? The baby's changed the world, had an impact from birth. So I'm so grateful for everyone to be with me on the Mama Knows Best show. Make sure you catch us as well. Go to our YouTube, our website, mamaknowsbest.com, and yes, and join the family. I'm going to do this. Welcome to Mama Knows Best. I'm Chinyere, and I've lived in Poshville for many years, even had a successful music career. But after a divorce, 2 children, no home, no money, there's no place I'd rather be than my childhood home in Moss Side. With no manual to life and no manual to motherhood, I'm on a quest to get real answers from real men and real women, and watch how we fix it. Follow the docu-series where I open my world and share my experiences and get other people involved to actually help me on my journey of self-discovery and motherhood. These stories of the heart and soul
aim to help and inspire, and just to know that we're not alone. So make sure you subscribe to our newsletter and also keep updated with everything that Mama Knows Best is doing with the podcast, the radio show, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Welcome to Mama Knows Best.
So definitely welcome to Mama Knows Best. This is a family, this is a tribe. We're all on a journey of self-discovery. And what's beautiful is that we just spoke to Dumebi, and which was absolutely amazing, where she told us about her miracle child. And now Manchester Hospital, one of the biggest hospitals, especially in the north, has a helipad because of his birth. Everyone, oh, God is good. Nothing happens by mistake. Now, from Jeremiah's birth, many children, will have the opportunity to have a quicker, transport to different facilities. And this is from here on, from his birth and forevermore. So definitely, this is the miracle baby. Good luck to the miracle baby, the mother, and all the family. And what we discussed today as well was the power of prayer. We're told that when the baby got there, there was just like, he has to have his operation. He's rushed to intensive care. And something happened between, him actually going to the surgery and then him being miraculous, improved, healthy, to the point where it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. So definitely, I think the message of today is about the power of words. You can say them in prayer. You can say them however you say them. Make sure you are saying them consciously, so you know exactly what it is you're saying and what you're saying over your life, what you're saying over your children's life. The words that are going around in your head, people could say they are your constant prayers. So definitely, they always say enlightened beings only speak about the things they want in their life. So I believe that's a form of prayer every day. So if we're mindful of the words we speak to each other, to ourselves, and I believe there'll be miracles everywhere. So definitely thank you so much for coming on the Mama Knows Best show for sure, and seeing stories of the soul. Please join us every single night on the Watchtower. We're on Instagram and Facebook, where we go live, and definitely we're all on our journey of self-discovery. So thank you so much. And definitely, to lead out, I have to definitely do my song. Oh, no, it didn't say it. It didn't say it. And what it's supposed to say is, Mama Knows Best, celebrating every woman's strength, purpose, and potential through sharing online and on radio. Yeah, man. God bless you. And definitely thank you so much. And remember, your words are your power, or your words are also your miracles. So be careful and mindful of what we speak. So definitely loads of love to everybody. And I know that everyone, we was going to leave with a prayer, but thank you so much for everyone for joining me on the Mama Knows Best. Join me next week for Stories of the Soul, and it's going to be absolutely amazing and informative. And the reason why we do it is because everyone, we're all social beings. Someone out there has gone through what you're going through. So if you can hear their wisdom, you'll get to the outcome quicker. So big thank you. And definitely, you're listening to the Mama Knows Best show.
Chinyere Mckenzie from Mama Knows Best, and welcome to Stories of the Soul. Each week, I'll be speaking to people who have gone through extraordinary circumstances and have come out wiser on the other end. I know that there is healing in sharing, as I have shared my own personal story, and the wisdom comes from that experience. Why not seek the answers of life's experiences and be wiser than having to go through the pain? Join me in learning from Stories of the Soul.
Definitely join me every single week. We're going to bring you absolutely amazing stories, and we're all here to learn. Definitely just want to say thank you to Jenny as well, who said my niece was in Manchester Children's Hospital last year, and her story is a miracle. Her heart stopped twice and 6 months stay, and she survived. Loving the story of the miracle baby. definitely, Jeremiah. And we've got amazing, I can hear you. Definitely, thank you so much as well. We've got some messages as well. Such an amazing testimony. Hallelujah. Definitely. Waymaker, miracle worker. So yes, definitely. Thank you so much as well. Pretty H says, thank you for sharing your wonderful testimony. And then we also have as well, we have Sonia say, wow, such a powerful testimony. To God be the glory. Thank you so much for sharing this awesome testimony. And then we've got another one as well by Dell, and says, God is a miracle worker. Definitely as well. So thank you so much for everyone with your comments, and thanks for joining in with the Mama Knows Best show. Thank you. Have a safe day today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Bye.